Another option, if you have time, is a 40-minute round-trip boat ride past the town, leaving from the dock near the university cafeteria, the Marstall, that medieval fortress-looking building that used to be an arsenal. It's about a half a mile from the marketplatz. The mini cruise gives you a relaxing view of the city and riverbank parks from the comfortable perspective of a small boat. Now you'll notice as you cruise along the riverbanks, there's some beautiful houses. These are like mansions or small castles. Many of them now have been subdivided into apartments. You might have a duplex there or a triplex here that were formerly large single-family homes, adapting to the modern times. And then there's a long, beautiful River's Edge Park. You'll see this is very popular with the locals. There's playgrounds for the kids, there's weeping willow trees and various kinds of lush vegetation. There's flocks of geese, there's ducks swimming by. There's paddlers, there's scullers. Being a university town, you'll see that sculling is very popular here. It's a very rigorous kind of exercise and a very competitive sport. The river Neckar is an ideal place for practicing the sculling. And this river park continues and continues for nearly a mile. People can walk here from town very easily or drive. There's plenty of parking nearby, or take a bus, have a picnic, do some sunbathing, and even swim in the river. The water is clean enough and warm enough in the summertime that the locals will jump in.
And as you're cruising along, you'll hear some narration that describes the history and some information about Heidelberg.
On the northern riverside, you'll find the new university campus for the natural sciences and medicine, Heidelberg's Molecular Biology Center and the Max Planck Institute of Medicine, and also a Gene Technology Center. This shows that Heidelberg is not only the cradle of Romanticism, but also the town with the oldest university of Germany and a home for modern sciences and research. We wish you much pleasure in discovering more of this beautiful town. Perhaps you take an interest in getting to know better the romantic Neckar Valley. The captains of the White Fleet love to take you along on further cruises.
Well, in the late afternoon, you might enjoy a stroll along the famous Philosophers Walk. To get here, you cross the river on the landmark Old Bridge, the Alte Brucke. It's one of the signature sites of the city that dates back to 1786. And this bridge was never damaged or destroyed in any of the various wars that affected Heidelberg. Well, you pass through the twin-towered gatehouse onto the rosy-colored bridge and admire the view looking back towards the castle. There's some large statues along this bridge which are reminiscent of a couple of other important European bridge landmarks, including the Charles Bridge in Prague and the Ponte SantAngelo in Rome. When you reach the other side, walk to the left just a couple yards and you get a postcard view looking back at the bridge with the town and the castle behind it. And this is just a little foretaste of the major panorama that you're about to experience once you climb the hill. Well, cross the busy street with the traffic light, cross the street, and then you go straight ahead into this little driveway area, following the sign that points to the Philosophers Walk. And right away you'll see this narrow footpath that leads up the hill in a steep series of staircases. Well, this climb takes about 10 to 15 minutes depending on your conditioning, and it's something like walking up a 25-story building, so it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's well worth the effort. Well, on your way up this steep hill, by all means stop a few times, catch your breath, rest a little bit. There is no great hurry to get up there. It's just around the bend and around the next bend and around a couple more bends, and soon enough you'll find your way. And notice the pretty gardens all along the way on both sides of this path. It's a green and pleasant path that will bring you to an observation terrace with one of the world's most beautiful views. The fairy tale village on a river with its brooding castle above, tinted in earthy hues with clay tile roofs and rosy-colored stone walls, especially vivid late in the day. You can walk along the upper path for a while and make like a poet or a philosopher as you absorb the visual treat below, being sure to get your tourist snapshots. Intrepid walkers could continue about a mile to the path's end, heading back towards the new town, and cross back over the Neckar on a modern bridge, the Theodor Heuss Bridge, arriving at the west edge of the old town. And then you could make your way back into the old town, back on the main street. However, most folks are happy just to get to the first or second viewpoint up on the hill, rest on a bench, soak in the view, and then return back down the same way you came up, back into the old town. You'll find the path is much easier going down, so you'll be fresh and ready for dinner.
No kidding. Going down is a lot easier, of course, than going up. It might take you about 15 minutes to walk up at a normal pace, and walking down just takes about 10 minutes. And you want to spend, at least 5 minutes up at the top. So you could do this entire round trip in a half hour. It's so easy. You don't want to miss out. It looks like a lot of work to go up and down, and it is. There's some work involved. But 30 minutes of effort is really worth your time. Of course, you might want to spend a little bit longer up at the top and take it a little more easy on the way up and down. So you could easily stretch this into a 1-hour experience. Once you're back down in town, it's time to look for a restaurant.
You will find that there are some great places to eat. Well, back in town, you will find that there are some great places to eat. Walk to the block-long street of Steingasse, which has several very nice restaurants, including Hock Teufel, with traditional cuisine and indoor or outdoor seating and excellent beer. This is a typical local restaurant, and you'll find that most of the diners in here seem to be local people. It has a rustic wooden interior, fine service, friendly people, and typical average prices. Of course, they have beer on tap. You can come in with reservations if you have a larger group, or if there's just a few people, just drop on by and inevitably they'll find room for you. Favorite restaurant choices are just here, all within a few blocks of the bridge. The Hock Teufel and Weisserbach and Bachmülde. Actually, there are at least half a dozen really top quality restaurants in this small area of the old town. And there's some cozy little pubs and bars to finish off the night.
Heidelberg is a very old city, what I expected, where the university is. Very, very clean.
The churches were magnificent, the inside. It's not as decorative as I had expected it to be compared to, ones that I've seen in other places. Right. But it was kind of awesome to think that people long ago could accomplish all of these art way up high.
Really?
Heidelberg is a good place to just wander and just to poke around, look at things. You don't get lost. It's fun. There's lots of things to see.
Heidelberg reminded me of scenes that you see in a movie. It was very old village, nice village, very nice pedestrian mall, cool weather, nice weather. Actually, we've been having really great weather, and really happy about that.
Heidelberg was fun. I like the Holländerhof. I remember really liking the Holländerhof. It was I remember you telling us it wasn't a 5-star, but it was good. The breakfast was nice. The people were so accommodating. And I felt we don't need a 5-star because this is so wonderful. Until I got to the Sofitel and I saw what a real 5-star was. Like, nearly knocked me down. It was nice to go 5-star because I don't think I would ever do that on my own.
Right.
Yeah, so it was very nice.
Heidelberg was a really nice town too. Very, very quaint. Very picturesque. I liked Heidelberg. Yeah, and the castle with the apothecary museum was a highlight for me.